Welcome to Film Club. This week's episode, we're tackling episode number 6 of Wandavision. And again, today we have Mia White. Hi, Mia.
Hi.
And Patrick Mitchell. How you doing, Patrick?
Hello, how's it going?
Shabby, not too shabby. And this one was, I'm the comics doctor, by the way. I always try to introduce myself. I'm the comic doc, Kevin the comic doctor, as you can see from my thing back there. So, wow, what an episode. I was really looking forward to getting some answers. And as I'm watching the episode, I'm listening intently to try to find out any clues or what have you. A few things started percolating in my brain, but I was kind of at a loss for this one. So what do you guys think? Patrick, how about you? What'd you think?
I think it's a transition episode. When you have a series that's 9 episodes long, you're gonna have a few where characters need to get from point A to point B. Nothing was revealed. No characters really grew. We didn't learn anything about anybody. It was kind of just a way for characters to move from. We had to get Darcy and Rambo into the Hex. Vision had to try to escape, and then you find out he's dead. It was just things that need to happen to set up the climax. So while that 20-minute stretch could work in a movie, like, oh, we're setting up the third act, ooh, I see what's going on here. In a TV show where you wait a week for that episode, it comes off as underwhelming.
Mia?
I really enjoyed this morning's episode. I do agree, though, it did feel more like a filler episode in the sense that there wasn't, like you said, any big dramatic reveal or anything that added to the plot in a way that makes this kind of like a standalone episode that supports itself with its content. But at the same time, I feel like it offered us a lot to theorize on and kind of gave us many different views on where it could be going, because I went on to Reddit as soon as I finished the episode. I always do, and it was blowing up with like ideas, and I have to agree, like especially when they were talking about the Hex and when it expanded and everything. I feel like that is going to. I'm sorry, that's my dog.
Right. Voice too.
Yeah. Especially the Hex. Like as soon as it started to expand and they started talking about how Monica's DNA was like, I don't know, rewriting itself. I think there's a lot going on there, and I think there's a lot of potential. I have my own theories now as to how the X-Men are going to be brought in, and new theories regarding Quicksilver, but it's not enough for them to just give us this information to be used for theories without having like a strong plot structure.
If you watch my supplemental video that I did yesterday, I think my theory's out the window. I don't think she's even going to say the words "no more mutants." I don't think she's even going to say it, or "let there be mutants." I don't think it's going to even happen. No, I don't know what they threw a curveball to me with that whole Pietro thing, where he remembers getting shot. Right? He remembers getting shot. So that I don't know. I am at a total loss for that one now. Appeared. So I got a feeling that perhaps the director of S.W.O.R.D. is building something or has something, and I think he derived either Wonder Man. I heard people saying it might be Ultron again, and I don't think it's going to be Ultron again, but it could be this other character known as Wonder Man. That's where I was, and of course Monica. You mentioned Monica Rambeau. Yeah, she's changing. Obviously, they showed her DNA in the first time and the second time, and so now when this show is over, she's obviously going to be. She's going to obviously exhibit those supernatural powers. And I'm curious to know, Mia, what is your theory on the X-Men then? What's going to happen?
So just for them to have shown and put aside a moment in the episode for them to be talking about how the Hex is rewriting genetic code, we know that mutants are derived from this genetic anomaly. Like that was all very much explored in the 20th Century Fox movies. But while that wouldn't necessarily mean that they were mutants because they wouldn't have been born with it, I think the term they use in the comics is mutate when they develop the powers. I think that as this Hex is now expanding and including more and more people, once they exit, just like for Monica, it can activate these powers in other individuals, and maybe that could be how more mutants are created. I don't know if the Hex is going to expand globally or if it'll just be concentrated to the people in Westview, but I think that some mutants could originate that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. My problem with that is, then what about these long-standing mutants like Professor X or Magneto or the history of the mutants that we have, like are they just going to all of a sudden appear, or are they going to start? Obviously, it looks like they're going to just appear, but then again, I don't know. Then it kind of discounts the origins of the X-Men themselves, right? If you know the if you look, well, they talk about, well, you see the origin in the 20th Century Fox films and in the comics. This will totally discount that. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think, Patrick? What do you think? You think that's a possibility?
I don't know. I don't have any real theories right now. I don't think this episode knocked anything off the table
No.
because there was no, we didn't get any more information. I think your theory is still possible. I think all the theories that Mia's had in the last couple weeks are still possible. I don't think anything's off the table at this point. It was a shorter like this was a shorter episode.
Yeah.
Like it was like back to that 20-minute length. So it was for characters to get from point A to point B. Vision had to find Agnes and he had to find out that he's dead. People had to get into the hex. It's a transition episode. It's not an episode that you look back on with any fondness. It'll be, oh, that's the episode where these characters move from one place to another. Like, in The Walking Dead, how you would have some episodes where they just walk.
Yeah.
Or like in Game of Thrones, you would read a chapter and the characters have to get from one kingdom to another place. That was one of those chapters.
The thing about Halloween, I was reading. Well, I know the old miniseries, the Scarlet Witch and Vision miniseries from the 80s dealt with Halloween, and it used Halloween as a backdrop because it was a time in the calendar year where the division between the nether regions and the real world were very thin, right? So they played a little bit with that. I did notice that. Did you not notice that Monica Rambeau mentioned that her friend was going to? I'm paraphrasing, of course, but she mentioned her friend was coming to help. Did you pick up on that?
Yeah, I remember something like that.
And so they're obviously putting a lot of stake in that. But I think maybe that's going to be the Luke Skywalker guy coming, or girl coming to help and save the day. And that person is the aerospace engineer, right? It has to be, because that's the guy who's built that contraption for her to bust through. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? The kick-ass line was kind of funny. Did you pick up on that?
Yeah, because they were both in kick-ass.
That was kind of good.
I had to pause it. That was great.
That was fun. So look, I mean, again, it was a fun episode. I like to see the Vision was finally figuring things out. That answers our questions. He cannot exist beyond the hex. He'll start falling apart or returning to his previous state, which is probably just pieces. So yeah, lots still unanswered questions. It was a fine episode, but I was hoping for a little more. And now we have to wait a whole other week to get part 7. Right? 7. Wow. It's almost over. Any final thoughts?
There's stuff we can deliberate on, but nothing concrete. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, this changed what we were watching. Like I enjoyed that it went from creepy to more sinister, especially with the commercial. And I liked the part with
I like the commercial. Yeah.
Yeah,
Explain the commercial, please.
Threw me for a loop.
Explain the commercial.
It's the one where he's on the island.
Yeah, I know
like
that, but what was the meaning behind this commercial?
Because she said it's the Go-Gurt for survivors, and then he can't open it, so he doesn't survive.
Okay. Yeah, he's sitting there trying.
I just like the shark.
The shark.
He had a surfboard. And I thought that was pretty cool.
I heard that the kids are the big thing now. Is that perhaps Sword wants the kids, and the whole idea was the whole purpose of this entire fiasco was to have her create these children that would then be taken and weaponized, obviously. And that's why he wants to kill Wanda now, to just get rid of her and just have access to speed.
That seems a little far-fetched. I hope that's not it.
Well, we'll see. Anyways, guys, thanks for popping by. It's a short episode, but we'll come back again next week and talk about, hopefully episode 7's got a few more jaw-dropping moments. And until then, Mia, thanks a lot for popping by. Patrick, thanks for coming by.
Thank you for having us.
All right. And to the rest of you, thanks for coming by again. And hopefully you're enjoying these videos. If so, please hit the subscribe button below. Help us build this community. It's very small. And again, we're just learning. We're doing this week by week, figuring this out. And hopefully we can get our numbers up and start pushing the envelope more with talking to you, some of the subscribers, about the movies and television you love to watch. So thanks again for popping by the Film Club. Take care. Bye now.
Have a good night.